Welcome to this short tutorial of CapCut. CapCut is an all-in-one video editor and graphic design tool. It's very user-friendly and easy to use, even for people without any video editing experience. First, start by downloading CapCut to your desktop in their website, CapCut.com, then install it and follow the instructions. When you launch CapCut, you will see this window. Here you can sign in if you want to, but it's not a must. To change the destination folder of your projects, click on the Settings icon and select Settings. Click on Folder icon next to Save To, then choose where to save your CapCut files and remember to save it. To get started with your video editing, click on New Project. This will open a new window with all the editing features. All your imported files, such as video clips, sounds and music, and pictures will appear in the top left. Here you also have effects and transitions, which we will get into later. The player in the middle displays your video. Once you choose a media, you will have more editing options that is specific to the chosen media. This will be shown on the right box. At the bottom, you have your main timeline. This is where most of the editing will take place. Here you are able to see the length of each clip and much more. Now let's dig deeper into the editing features available. Start by importing a video clip by clicking on Import. If you don't have a video clip, you can download free video clips from pexels.com. This site lets you search and download video clips for free. When you click on the imported video, it will appear in your preview window. Drag the imported video into the timeline to start editing. Press the space button to start and stop the preview. Now let's preview the whole clip. It looks like a family celebration and people drinking wine. When you click on the clip, you will get a few options at the top. You can split the clip into parts. You can delete to the left of the timeline or to the right of it. You can also delete the selected part. The freeze option lets you take a 3-second screenshot and creates a still frame. The reverse button runs the clip backwards. The mirror option creates a horizontal mirror effect so that everything on the left appears on the right. You can flip the clip by rotating at 90 degrees. You can also crop it so that only a section of the clip is visible. Let's take a quick look at what each function does. A common and useful shortcut is using the Ctrl and B button on your keyboard for splitting the clip. Delete left deletes anything to the left of the timeline. And delete right deletes anything to the right of the timeline. Clicking on the trash icon deletes the whole clip. You can also use the Delete shortcut on the keyboard. The freeze button takes a 3-second screenshot. The duration of the freeze time can be changed by shortening or extending the end of the clip. The reverse function will process the clip and play it backwards. The mirror option creates a mirror effect so that anything on the left appears on the right. The rotate button flips the clip 90 degrees clockwise for each click. The crop ratio lets you choose which part of the clip that will be visible. Remember that the mirror and reverse effect is on, which is why it looks like this after cropping. In the preview window, you can change the aspect ratio. 16:9 is the standard horizontal YouTube and full screen mode, while 9:16 is the vertical mode for mobile phone view such as Instagram Shorts and TikTok videos. You can rotate and also zoom in or zoom out by dragging at one of the corners. Click on the full screen viewer to see the whole footage in full view. Let me show you a quicker and easy way to get started with video editing. Start by dragging the video down to the timeline. Use the keyboard shortcut B for Blade to cut the clip into different parts. To go back to the selection arrow, use the keyboard shortcut A for arrow. You can also select this on the left, but it's much quicker to use the shortcuts as you will be changing between the cutting and selecting tools very often. With the arrow selected, you can then drag each clip. You can also click at the start or end of each clip to shorten or extend it. This is the easiest way to trim a clip. Now let's focus on the tools on the right side on the timeline. First is the microphone icon. This lets you record audio and place it on the timeline, which is useful if you are explaining something. The other tools have something to do with how the clips interact with each other and the view of the timeline. The main track magnet snaps all the clips right next to each other with no gaps in between. The auto-snapping tool shows a blue line when one clip is placed right next to it. This makes sure that there are no gaps between separate clips. When turned off, the clips will overlap, and there might be a tiny gap, so make sure to have it on. The linkage tool lets you link added effects to a clip. When turned on, it groups the effect and the clip together. This lets you move them as one unit. Let me show you an example. Go to Effects and drag Edge Glow on top of the second clip. When linkage is turned off, the effect and clip are separate. That means if you move the video clip, the effect will not move with the clip. But as you can see, when you turn on the linkage, both your clip and its effect will move together as one block. Turning on the preview axis lets you hover over the clip and displays it on the player screen. This way, you don't have to drag the timeline each time. The Zoom to Fit timeline automatically fits everything to cover as much as possible of the timeline. You can also zoom in or out using the minus and plus buttons. Or you can use your mouse as a shortcut to zoom in and out. Hold the Control or Command button while scrolling forth and back with your mouse. Now let's focus on the modifications options available on the right. When you drag and select a media on the timeline, you can do more editing. You can, for example, scale the clip. Move along the x-axis and move in the y-axis. You can also rotate the clip. Let me return everything to 0 and show you how much easier it is to do it with your mouse instead. This can be done by dragging one of the corners and by rotating at the bottom. You can also change the speed of the clip, making it faster or slower. The Animation tab gives you the option to add animation effects to your clip. Let's choose the zoom animation for this demonstration. Feel free to explore any of the other animations. The duration of the animation can be adjusted at the bottom where it says duration. You can also add an animation at the end by choosing Out under Animation. The Adjustment tab is for more advanced color editing and for fine-tuning the clip. Here you can, for example, change the brightness and contrast of the clip. Let me show you how to add text to a clip. Go to the top and choose Text. Click and drag the box that says Default Text to the timeline. You can now edit the text size, font color, and much more. Have a go for yourself and feel free to change the settings. You can also animate the text. Choose your preferred animation from the available options. There are many to choose from. Now let's move on to sound. Start by importing the sound file as an MP3. CapCut will automatically recognize it as a sound file. You can change the volume by increasing or decreasing the decibel value. An easier way to adjust the volume is by dragging the midline up and down with your mouse. You can also let the volume increase gradually at the beginning and also gradually fade out at the end. Zoom in and hover over the beginning of the sound file until the double-sided arrow appears, and then drag it to the right. You can also do the same at the end of the sound file. To add special effects, click on the Effects option at the top. This will show you all the effects options that you can choose from. Hold your mouse over each effect to see a preview of what the effect does. When you have found the effect you want, simply drag it over the part where you want it. You can change the duration by adjusting the length of the effect. You can explore all the effects in your own time. I will just drag a couple of effects for demonstration. Let's have a look at transitions. Just like with effects, you have a preview when you point your mouse over them. One thing to note about transitions is that they can only be placed between clips. So let's start by cutting the clip into different sections and then choose a transition. You can also add stickers. Choose stickers from the top menu. And again, here you simply just drag the sticker into the timeline on top of your clip. You can also make more adjustments such as resizing and rotations. Use the search box to search for a sticker that matches your need. Let's try with a light bulb to express new idea. Let's place the green arrow and the light bulb on top of each other so that they appear at the same time or right after each other. Let's add an animation to the last sticker. Select the art animation and choose whichever one you like. Note that CapCut works in layers. This means that higher up the media is, the closer it is in the foreground. You can change the order in the layers by simply dragging one on top of the other. In the far left, you can control each row of the timeline. You can, for example, mute the sound of one row by clicking on the volume icon. You can also hide a track by clicking on Hide Track. When a track is hidden, the layer below it will be visible. Lastly, you can lock a track. Locking a track makes it uneditable. You will have to unlock it again before you can do any editing. You can adjust the layout of CapCut. This is done by clicking and dragging with the mouse to resize each segment. If it for some reason looks totally out of place, or you want to return it back to normal, go to Menu on the top left corner. Scroll down to Layout and select Default Layout. To save your video, click on Export at the top right corner. This will open a new window. Give it a title and select where on your PC to save the file. I suggest you leave the rest as it is. Where it says Codec, remember to choose it as H.264. To save your video, simply click on Export. Your video should now be in your chosen folder. That's it for this beginner tutorial of CapCut. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe.